Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel where English becomes easy and fun to learn. In today's video, we will understand the concept of voice in English grammar, what it means, why it matters, and how to use it correctly in sentences. So let's get started. So the first part we will be discussing here is the definition of voice and its type. So the definition will be that voice refers to the form of a verb that shows whether the subject of the sentence is doing the action or receiving it. And as we can see, there are two types of voice. One is active voice and the another is passive voice. Now, looking at the difference, active voice can be recognized when subject does the action. For example, she writes a letter. So we can see that the emphasis is on she, and passive voice can be recognized when subject receives the action. For example, a letter is written by her, so the emphasis is on the object. Let's look at how the verb changes when we move from active to passive. And before moving forward, I would like to tell you that the basic rule is passive voice can be recognized with the be form plus past participle, which is third form of the verb. Let's see how it works in different tenses. So the first is present simple, which we know the tense. So let's take an example that we have he eats mangoes. So we can see that it is an active voice because the emphasis is on the subject, which is he. Now, how can we change it from active to passive voice? Then we will see mangoes are eaten by him. This is the conversion from active voice to passive voice, and it is an example of simple present tense. Moving forward, we have simple past. Now, the example of simple past of active voice is they cleaned the room, and its passive form will be the room was cleaned by them. So we can clearly see that in active we see the emphasis is on the subject, and in passive form we see that the emphasis is on the object. Moving forward, we have simple future tense where example of active voice is she will complete the project, and its passive conversion is the project will be completed by her. Moving forward, we have present continuous tense. The example of present continuous tense in active voice is he is watching a movie. Now, its passive conversion is a movie is being watched by him. So, the one thing we can see over here is whenever we see the first form of the verb plus ing, then we will see its conversion into passive as using being plus the third form of the verb, which is here is a movie is being watched by him. So here we used ing as being and plus verb key third form, which is watched. Moving forward, we have present perfect. The example of present perfect in active voice is they have built a house, and its conversion in passive voice will be a house has been built by him. So these are certain examples in different tenses which can make your concept clear. Moving forward, we have the concept of why use passive voice. Why do we need to use passive voice? So the data behind is we do not know who did the action. Here we can see that we do not know who did the action. The first point is this. So we particularly use passive voice when we don't know who did the action. Second is the example which has been used, like the window was broken. We do not know who did it, did this action. So it is a passive voice. The window was broken. Then the third is the action is more important than doer. Means it is not important that the subject we should focus on. The action is more important. For example, the new policy was introduced yesterday. So we can clearly see that the new policy is an important action. So here we can use the passive voice. This is the passive voice actually. Then we want to sound formal and polite. These are the three reasons why we use passive voice. and we have seen with examples here. Moving forward, we have tips and tricks for this. So always identify the object of the active sentence. It becomes the subject in the passive voice. Only transitive verb means those with an object can be changed into passive voice. Use by only when necessary. Sometimes when we leave it out, for example, the letter was sent, we didn't use any by here. So but still it is a passive voice, because unnecessarily we do not use by in the passive voice to make it look more like passive voice. So that's the thing, we do not use unnecessarily. Then change into pronouns. You can see that in passive voice, the conversion of I to me, he to him, we can clearly see. Now it's your turn. Try converting these active voice into passive voice. So I'm giving you some of the examples of active voice. These Ravi cooks the dinner, the students wrote the test, she will sing a song. And these answers have been given below. The above three are the active voice examples, and the below three are the examples of passive voice, which are the conversion of active voice, which is written above. So that's the basic idea of voice in English grammar. Simple, right? So we can see that active voice is something where subject does the action, and passive voice is something where subject receives the action. I hope this video helped you understand it better. If you find it useful, please like the video, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe for more easy grammar lessons. Comment below if you want a part 2 with more practice questions or a PDF worksheet. Thanks for watching and keep learning with me. See you in the next video.